Welcome to Parenthood Bites, the podcast where we explore life as a parent in tech. I'm your host, Chow, and I have over 15 years of experience in tech, and I'm also currently working as a career coach. I'm the proud mother of 3 incredible boys. In each episode, we have an inspiring guest who will share their remarkable story. You'll find their wisdom and insights both relatable and enriching, because after all, we're all in this parenting journey together. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive into today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 14 of Parenthood Bites. We're here today with Hita Gambheer, who is a staff software engineer at Marqeta and currently located in the Bay Area. Hi Hita, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. And we're releasing this in January, but we're recording this right before Thanksgiving break. And so are your kids off for a week next week?
Yes, they are. Everybody's got to be home, and we have no plans yet, so I don't know what we're going to do.
Are you going to take the week off too, or you're going to still be working?
I will be working. I took quite some time off in September. I visited my parents in India, so I'm hoping that this Thanksgiving I'll spend at home in my home and be able to just relax.
Yeah, and then hopefully, can keep the kids busy too.
Yeah, we're going to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah. You know what works for us when our kids are off is like we have a schedule for them and we have them come up with the schedule with us. So, we'll sit there with them and say, "Okay, this first half hour we're going to eat breakfast or whatever. And then we're going to, you're going to draw something really cool. And then you're going to watch a TV show or something." Cuz then I find otherwise I either have them watching too much TV, playing too much iPad, or they're always coming to me for something.
That is really smart. My girls, like I have 3 children, and my twin girls, they're very they, engaging in the sense they want me to engage with them. So if they're playing dolls, they want mommy to also play doll with them. Want to color, they'll ask me questions like, what color do I put for the ears and the eyes? So right now I'm trying to teach them to play by themselves.
Yeah, how old are they?
They're 5. The twins are 5, and then I have a baby. He's 1.5.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's a really a lot of work, but also very, very sweet ages where, you know, like you said, they want to be around you. They love playing with you and all of that. But yeah, I think at 5, a schedule would really would help, but not like, they probably can't sit there and do something for 2 hours,
Yeah.
but maybe like half an hour or something. You can have them draw something and then the next half hour you spend that time with them,
Yeah.
and then the next half hour they do something. I don't know, if you have meetings that could be something, or if you want a break.
That's a really nice idea. I'm going to try that out during our Thanksgiving break.
Awesome. So 5 and 1.5, right? Are your 5-year-olds, are they in kindergarten now?
Yes, they go to public school.
I remember kindergarten. It's like I was like, oh, cool, they're in school, but it's like half day, right? I was like, what is this? Half day?
Yeah. Actually, there was a lottery at my school to get extended care within the campus, and my twins won the lottery. Uh, so they go to after care, which is just like another classroom within the campus. They have so much fun there. It's free play, it's coloring and Legos. They look forward to that time. So I get a little bit of an extra time to focus on work.
Oh, that's really great that they both got into the after school program.
Yeah, I guess I got lucky. And then my neighbor actually has a very nice daycare in her home.
Oh, wow.
So I put my baby in her daycare since he was 9 months old. He's been going to my neighbor's place and he's doing amazing. Today they're making soup for lunch together.
That's really nice that they have those activities for them.
Mhm.
And it's close to your home, right? So you can just walk over if you need to.
Yeah, yeah. In the beginning, when he was adjusting, I would for lunchtime and nap time, I would go there and let help him sleep, help him adjust to the new place, and it worked out for both of us.
Well, that's really great. How did you find out about your neighbor's daycare?
Funny story is that when we were looking for homes, we were very like after the girls were born, we wanted to make sure before they go to school, we find a home that is very close to school, walking distance from school. And then we looked at this place. There was a daycare next door with 5-star rating and a school in walking distance. So we were like, we have to get this house. The life changes, priorities are different. We chose this house because the kids would have care.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it just makes it so much easier, especially when you see that it has 5-star rating, right?
Yeah,
Why not? That sounds like it just all worked out where you have your new house and then you have care for the kids. And
yeah,
essentially, when your younger one goes to school, he will have that too.
yeah, yeah.
That's really smart. And how are you liking it?
I love it here. We have a little bit of a space in the back for the kids to run around, and the house we were earlier, we that was our first house. It was a townhouse. We loved it because it had a lot of privacy in the sense the ground floor was for guests, and the first floor was a living space, and the third floor was our bedrooms. But then the twins learned to break open baby gates and they would run on the stairs. Every time they would run onto the stairs, we would be so nervous and scared that they would tumble down. So we decided to move out and buy a house without any stairs.
Yeah, that totally sounds like how your priorities shift, right? After you
Yeah,
have kids. Like it's perfect for the two of you,
yeah,
but then when your kids get real mobile, then it's like, oh gosh.
yeah, yeah. We really love that place. Sorry, the community, and there was a new park right around the corner, but it was kind of hard to let go of it.
Yeah,
But then when
yeah.
we came here, we kind of adjusted, and now we can't imagine living anywhere else.
That's great. Oh, do you need to get it?
No, it's
The
fine.
phone?
That's my mom,
Okay.
actually.
Oh,
My mom calls me every day, every single day. She,
my parents too.
she is a teacher. She's a high school English teacher, and from the past 1 week, she has exams, so she's tutoring her kids, her students, and she couldn't call me for 2 days, so she got so guilty about it, even though I didn't say anything. She's been calling me non-stop from morning. I told her that till 11 a.m. I'm not going to be able to take your call. And then, I don't know why she still called me. Just in case. I guess her excuse is just in case, just checking.
Yeah, just checking in, right? Yeah, my parents, they'll call me, and then if I don't answer right away, like I'm in the bathroom or doing the dishes, they'll call my husband because they're like, "What happened to her? Where is she?" And I'm like, "I just needed to go to the bathroom. I didn't want to bring my phone. I'm sorry." And then, right? And they're
Yeah,
just like, "Okay, we just want to make sure you're okay. We don't have really anything. Just checking in."
yeah, yeah. Exactly the same. I imagine like us going like that's probably the next stage of parenthood.
Yeah, because no matter how old your kids get, right, they're still going to be your baby and you're still going to worry about them.
Yeah.
So, my older two now actually have phones, but then they're always home anyway, so I don't need to call them.
Yeah.
And the few times they go out, I don't, they're only out for a few hours, so I don't want to call them and be that parent, the mom
Yeah.
that's always calling them when they're out with their friends. But
Yeah.
I will text them sometimes
Hmm.
just to see if they're okay. And so I
Yeah.
get it, but I don't think I will want to call them all the time. I'm going to try to keep myself busy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't,
Correct.
but who knows? Maybe I'll be checking in on them all the time too.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be like my mom too. Guilty, even though my kids are like, don't call me, it's okay.
And you have three, so you can take turns, right?
Oh my
Call one,
God.
they don't pick up, call the other one.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
No, I don't. I'm the only child.
So that's also why she wants to make sure that you're good, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all focused on one kid,
yeah,
whereas yours will be split between the three.
yeah.
So, what brought you to tech, and how many years have you been in tech?
Okay, so in India, it's very competitive. So ever since I was a kid, I never imagined myself other than being a doctor or an engineer, which is very funny. And I was prepared to be a doctor because of the competitive scene. My backup plan was computer science. At school, I used to help out in the computer lab, and I was during my summer break, I used to help out with the IT division in my school. So computer science was the best backup plan I could think of for myself. And I went for it, never looked back. Then I decided that I would like to study more, maybe go to outside my country and learn more about the tech scene. So I came to the States, and I took my first internship at Santa Barbara. It was fun. It was a startup, that very small team. That was when I decided I want to work at startups, and I found Marqeta.
Nice.
It's been fun since I joined.
That's awesome. You mentioned like you had wanted to be a doctor and then you switched to computer science. Kind of when was that and what was it that made you not want to be a doctor?
The first things was that I wanted, yeah. So when I got my computer first at home, and my first laptop, I come I was what, I was 14, 13, 14. I installed my first Linux flavor Debian onto it. I felt so accomplished. I was like, oh my God, I'm a scientist. When I was in school, I was helping out in the computer lab, and I was at that point, 10th standard students were learning Java, introduction to Java. I was in 8th standard, and I helped out with the computer lab, and I was interested in Java. I learned simple programs, and it was something that I could do while being immersed into it. And I realized I could sit in a corner, not move, not talk to anybody, and just do my business. So I was like, okay, computer science, I like it. But then when I came to the States to do my master's, I had a very good mentor. So he told me for my master's thesis, just think about what I would like to do as when I get into tech, and have my thesis built around that. And so I spoke to a lot of people who were working in the industry. One of them, who happened to be my uncle, is actually into quality, software quality. And so I was really inspired by how he used to, there were these quality gates. He was kind of simplified it for me to understand, but kind of something like quality gates and verification before something makes it out, just to increase customer satisfaction. And the idea that the responsibility of somebody making sure that the product is working as expected, something that I liked. So my master's thesis was software verification techniques for small scale medical devices. So it was I thought of a lot of metrics, a lot of use cases, um, and my mentor helped me through the thesis. It was done. I got an internship as a quality assurance engineer at the startup, where people were just building things out but not testing anything, because there were 20 engineers and two quality engineers. And I was the intern, and I was helping them build out this framework to test web pages. The login was not working for a certain keyboard. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. Then I decided that, oh, I want to be a quality assurance engineer.
You mentioned also like you really enjoyed that startup, and so then you say you wanted to be in other startups. What was it about the startup that excited you?
It's just small teams, more of friendship. I saw that if it's a small team, there is more approachability, there is more communication, there is more of like a friendship, camaraderie, and when you're getting a job done, everybody else also knows what you're working on, so you get a lot more help. And it makes a difference when you know your team in person, you know your team better. You can help each other better to grow. So I got mentorship from not just my manager but almost everybody on the team, and I was able to contribute my ideas also to the UX designer because they were sitting next to me. And it just feels like a small family when it's like a startup, because you're together building out something that you hope will work out and will be successful. It's a baby. It's like you have a baby. I decided that I really like taking up this challenge, this responsibility, so I wanted to be at startups.
I love that because it's so important, the people you work with, right? Because you're with them most hours of the day. And so you want to be with people that you enjoy being around. The worst is going to a job that you hate or being around people who are toxic. Then it's like, oh gosh, I got to spend 8 hours or more with these people every day.
Right. Yes. Somebody who doesn't understand you or doesn't know that, oh, understand that they family or we have a life outside work. It's hard.
Yeah. So, how many years were you working in tech when you became a parent?
About 3 years.
So it's pretty early on.
Very early.
How did work take it when you were going on leave, and how did you feel? How was that experience?
I was very nervous to tell at work because I thought I didn't want to be known as a person who's slacking off. Work had always been my baby, my first baby. I put lot of interest. Any project I would do, I would make sure I gave my 100% into it. But then my manager was, Will. He was super supportive. He used to always constantly remind me that, hey, work can never uh, take a major part of your life. It should not be a major part of your life. Your family is somewhere you have to invest the most, not at work. And
Hmm.
so, even though I was nervous when I told him, the whole team was very supportive of me. Traditionally, the policy here is 3 months of disability, and then you get another 3 months of parental, 3 to 6 months of parental leave. I think bonding leave, and my company paid 100% through the process, so it helped. And I divided the leave so that I 3 months. I After 3 months I went back to work,
Hmm.
but then I took the rest to visit family and spend more time with the baby. That was definitely hard, nervous.
Yeah, I remember we were both at Marqueta at the same time, and I remember you were like, "What about my career? What's going to happen after I have kids and stuff?" And I know it was a struggle.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually, yeah, I wasn't prepared. I thought it's not going to work out having kids because I was having twins. That is a big unknown. I'm the only child to my parents. My husband's the only child to his parents. So even the grandparents don't know how it's going to be like. Actually, the whole family, the last 4 generations, nobody's had twins. Everybody is like, oh my God, how are you going to manage? It's going to be crazy. But luckily, my parents and my in laws are very supportive. They kept coming back to back for 6 months to take care of the twins and us. That is how I was able to come back to work after 3 months. But it's not just about having help, or it's not about being able to go to work. It is a lot to do with psychologically. You're overwhelmed. You've just had new family members. Now you're a parent. You're responsible for these little tiny ones. So it's very, very overwhelming psychologically for a mother,
Yeah.
especially. I mean, for guys, for dads also it is overwhelming, but I'm going to talk about moms now.
Yeah, of course.
Because there are 10 different things mothers have to do more than dads. For example, feeding. That was something I failed at. I don't want to say failed because it's just it didn't work out for me. And I was super guilty about that for several months. So there were parallelly like five things going on in my mind. I cannot feed my baby. If my baby gets sick, it has a cold or fever, is it because of me? And
Right.
then the second track would be I want to perform 100% at my work like I used to, like before. I don't want to seem like I cannot perform well. I want to take on pager duty because I don't want to sound like I cannot be the same person like I was before. And then another track was I have to get back to my old self. I have to be healthy. And the fourth track would be like, oh, I'm not able to watch TV anymore, not able to read a book anymore. I don't have time for myself. So it's crazy. The first year is crazy. It's hard, super hard.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We put so much pressure on ourselves, right? Like you said,
Right.
even just the feeding alone, it's like, oh gosh, if I don't feed my baby, is it on me? Like, I really did not like to pump. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people really like the feeding time, and I never knew when my kid was full. And then he would fall asleep, and I'm like, is he done? And then when you start pulling the baby away, they start sucking again. So you're like, are they done? Are they not? And so I just pumped, but I also didn't like that. And I was feeling guilty about that. Right. And then I stopped, I think, when I had 6 months of milk. I was like, okay, I'm done. But I felt guilty because a lot of other parents go a year and a half, some go 2 years. And
And then when you go to the hospital, they're like, "Oh, are you feeding your baby? It's flu
yeah,
season. You need to feed your
yeah,
baby." I said, I couldn't after 1 week. I was done after 1 week. I just couldn't do it psychologically.
yeah,
Even if my
yeah.
body could have, I don't know. I couldn't. And then all these together, it comes back to you when they fall sick. You feel terrible.
You think, oh, if I had fed them longer, would they not have gotten sick? But then, babies always get sick regardless,
Yes,
regardless of
yes.
whether or not we breastfed them. And I've never seen someone that's worse than someone else who's been fed, right? Like you look at all the people you meet, we don't know if they've been breastfed or not, and everything works out, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And I know it's super overwhelming with the baby, let alone two babies. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah, two babies. Can't feed them. Yeah.
what was that like? I mean, were they I know they always say, oh, sleep when the baby is sleeping, but with two babies they must have different sleep schedules, different feeding
Yeah.
schedules.
So sleep when the baby sleeps means no sleep ever, because if one sleeps, the other one wakes up. Other one stays. Sometimes both of them decide to be awake together. So we used to have a schedule at home. My husband would sleep from 9 o'clock to 4 a.m. and then I would sleep from 4 a.m. to 9 o'clock next day. Sometimes he would wake up at 3 a.m. Yeah, he would come out at 3 a.m. So he would take duty from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. My parents and my in-laws were like, we'll do everything for you except night
Yeah.
duty. We cannot do night duty. I was like, okay. We moved into an apartment that was a little bit more open in the bigger living room. We had two cribs. We put everything in the living room because we were just, the house was a baby's nursery. The entire house was a baby's we were just living there.
Yeah, you just that's your priority, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so the living room, the kitchen, living room, dining room, everything was one big blob, like a giant open space. And that was the working area. The person in charge on duty would be there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were, that went on for the first 9 months of their life. After that, they did not sleep through the night till they turned 4. They would still wake up in the middle of the night till they were 4 because they were hungry, they want milk. Then I started, when they were 4, I was like, this is it. I'm keeping those Horizon milk boxes in the fridge. You're hungry, go take it from the fridge.
They can get it themselves. And so then when they were 4, when they were more they were getting better at sleeping through the night, then you decided to have another one.
Yeah, we didn't decide anything. Like, okay, our life has come to an end. But this little guy, he is very sweet. He slept through the night right from the beginning. And this time, my husband was very brave. He said, "I want him to sleep next to me, and I'll take care of him through the night. Don't worry about it."
Wow.
One whole year, I got my own private bedroom. I was so excited.
That's really great. You were able to get some more sleep during that year.
Yeah, this time I recovered much better. The first time was very overwhelming, and I because of the over all the stress psychologically, I drastically lost a lot of weight almost instantly, like in 3 months, in a very unhealthy way. Everybody appreciated me for it. That is something very weird. They were like, you look normal again so fast." But actually, the truth was, it was the most unhealthy way. And I was I was kind of very weak for a very, very, very long time. But this time round the corner, my husband supported me a lot. He took a lot of the brunt of the newborn baby, and I recovered much better, stronger.
That's great. Was it because he saw kind of how hard it was on you with the first two and he's like, I gotta step it up.
Yes, 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 yes. It matters a lot when you have 3 kids. Both both the partners have to be super duper involved with not just the children, but just looking at each other. And that is what we try to do, look at each other and see if you're okay, and help each other get that extra time for yourself.
Yeah, and that was so hard on your body that first time around, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you lost all that weight, and people are just going, great job. And you're like, no,
No.
this is not, I'm not in a good,
Yeah.
yeah, that's, I'm glad that with the third one, you recovered better. And like in my culture, like we do a 1 month thing after having the baby, like a 1 month postpartum thing.
Hmm.
But, they say that when you have, like, if you didn't recover well the first time, okay, your next kid is your chance to recover better. Oh, if you don't, then that next kid
Oh
is
my
your
God.
chance. So it's good that with your, with your third child, you were able to get that full recovery and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good for your body. Do they have a mother's room now too when you had your babies?
Yes, after the renovation, they actually have two mothers' rooms and a lot of private space to kind of relax also for the mothers. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Because when I was there, the mother's room was, they said, just use a conference room. We'll pull down the shades and you can lock it. And then they put a fridge in there and that was it. And I was so scared, because it was right next to other conference rooms. And also it was at the older office and it was the conference room by the front
Yeah,
door.
there was no mother's room over there.
Yeah, it was just that conference room. And they were just like, just go in there, lock the door. And then people were working right outside and people were working in the conference room right next to it. And I was like, oh God. And then some people go in there for meetings. So I would have to like knock and like, I'm sorry, I have to use the room. It was just super uncomfortable. So I'm so happy that they actually have two now. That's really, really great.
The two are also a little bit tucked away from everybody. They're quiet, privacy. Even if somebody walks into the room, you cannot see them.
That's great. And it also shows kind of how far like companies go, right? How far they've come from the very beginning to now because they adjust as people have more babies and as the company matures as well.
Yes, yes, true.
I love hearing that. It was super comfortable for you and all of that. That's great. And so with your second child, were you feeding more or was it similar? Or sorry, third child, or was it similar to the first two?
Yeah, similar. I couldn't do it. Yeah.
So you couldn't use the room with
No,
all that talk about the
I
room.
couldn't use the room
You should have
because
used it to rest at least. Take a nap.
the pandemic set in, right? It was the pandemic time. So anyway, I was at home. So I couldn't go to office. I miss going to work a lot. But yeah, I couldn't really go use the room. That means I didn't have any time for myself. I never took any break. I had nothing off my calendar. So it's two-sided.
Or do you go into the office sometimes now, or are you fully remote now?
No, I go once a week. Yeah.
Okay. Because you mentioned you miss going in. So I'm like, are you getting some of that?
I go once a week, but there are very few people who come in. A lot of the people were hired out of state. So, very few of us, whoever is in the Bay Area, tries to make it during the week. Again, if one of them is sick, has a little bit of cough, they don't come in. So, it is what it is. It's not like back then anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Everything changed with the pandemic, right?
Yeah,
Even with hybrid work, it's still not as as many people in the office as before, not as much going on in the office,
right.
right? Someone was reminding me the other day that back then there's like people skateboarding in the office.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, my team
Yeah, remember
skateboarding
that.
around the office and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different time.
Yeah, actually, there was a funny incident. I remember one of the babies, my mother in law specifically told me, you come home only after the babies have finished eating their dinner. So they've just started learning to eat at 6 months, eating mushy stuff. And they would see me, they would jump out of their chairs and not want to eat anymore. So she told me, you stay there, maybe watch a movie, do something there, because you said you have a nice lounge to relax. Sit in the lounge, eat chips. Don't come home till 7 o'clock. So, because at home it was a chaos. I go to work, it
Yeah,
was a little bit more relaxing, weirdly,
it was calm.
in a weird sense. So I would wait every day till 7 till they're done with their dinner and then go home. So I kind of enjoyed it.
Did you get to relax a little at work, or were you working straight through till 7?
No, no, I got to relax a little bit. But some of my team members, they found it weird. They were like, why are you staying so late to work? Why don't you go home? Go home, you have babies at home. And I would be like, no, I'll go home whenever I want to go home. Why are you forcing me to go home?
You're like, that's why I'm not going home.
Yeah. And they thought I was kind of maybe depressed or sad because at the whole phase. Then later I had to clarify that, hey, I'm okay, everything's fine. It's just that they spit out and they don't want to eat anymore when I go home, so I have to wait till they're done.
It's so funny. Um, so with your long leave, not like super long, but like, with your leave, was it a struggle going back to work?
So what happened was I had a whole schedule around my babies. I was giving them a lot of time. I was playing with them, and suddenly when I had to go back to work, I felt totally out of sync. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to do it? Same like how I was able to. And you know how tech is, things change so fast. People, the whole CI/CD system was thrown out and a new process was set in. The entire way of us working with AWS was switched over to Terraform. We were using Terraform, and I had never used Terraform before. So I was so nervous. I was like, maybe I'm outdated now. How am I going to learn all this so quickly? Yeah, I was stressing. I was trying to do some courses before I went on to work. But now when I think about it, go back, it's all unnecessary. No need to worry. When you start working, you just learn to take help from people in your team. You should be fine. Just don't stress about it too much.
Yeah, it's again one of those things, right, where we're too hard on ourselves.
Another thing is that I missed my children so much. I constantly kept thinking, what would they be doing right now? What would they be doing right now? You miss them terribly. They never miss you though. They would be happily having fun at home with grandparents or caregivers. They would be sleeping, eating something cozy. As soon as they see us, they start crying as if they've missed us a lot.
But during the day, you're like, I don't believe you. You do
Yeah,
not miss me.
my mom and my mom-in-law used to send me videos of them playing just to keep me calm. I has to keep texting them, are they okay? Are they okay? Are they okay? And she said, don't worry, they're fine.
But now that you're remote, they can see you anytime they want, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the other way around now. It's like I want 10 minutes to finish a document. And they're like, but before that, I want to tell you something. Can we go to Target?
It's at that age where they want to keep playing with you and have your attention.
Yeah, but school's helping.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said they're in after school, and then the younger one is in the daycare
Yeah,
at your neighbor's house. So, what time do you usually pick them up?
five. Five is the strict deadline. So I have to pick up the twins at extended care at 5 and then the baby at the same time.
Okay, so you get your time to do work, to do things, and then five. I used to always say, okay, that's when I turn into a pumpkin. That's
Yeah,
when,
yes. At 5, the magic is gone. Yeah.
yeah.
And then I have a very strict bedtime schedule because these little ones, they are very active through the day. They need a lot of rest time. So tuck them into bed by 8. So from 8 o'clock, I'm again free. I'm
Until they wake up.
until they wake up. Yeah. So from 8 to 12, every day I have some time to relax.
Yeah, I hear that. It's like I'm tired, but no, I'm going to stay up because tomorrow starts all over again, right? And then right when I'm like, okay, I can't stay awake, I'm going to sleep, then somebody comes to my door and then yeah, right? And then I don't get to sleep.
But then I'm like, no, 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 go back to bed. You know the rule. Go back to your room right now. You cannot come out of your room. You got to sleep. And they say, but I want to tell you something. That is their favorite favorite dialogue. But I want to say something.
So does your younger one wake up a lot now, or does he also?
He's like somehow he probably knew that mom and dad are worked out a lot. They are super stressed. So let me be the calmest baby ever. If he's in the car, sometimes I need to look back and check, is this guy sleeping or what's he doing? There's no sound at all. And then I look, he's peacefully looking out of the window, or he's playing with a toy car. And then he sleeps all through the night. He doesn't even wake up for milk. He only wakes up at 8 o'clock, and then he signs. I taught him a sign language sign for milk. He signs for his milk. He is the sweetest little baby ever. No, I mean, the twins are also the sweetest little girls ever. But
But he's a lot more calm to give you that time to rest.
yeah, yeah, he's like, okay, you're too worked out. I'll not trouble you. It's okay. I'll play by myself.
Well, your husband is smart to say, I'm asleep with that one. Because that's the one that I get it now.
He got like, yes, you see, he got two bullets in one shot. Like he got the bonus points from me, And at the same time, the baby does nothing. He just sleeps through the night.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, how has your work life changed since you became a parent?
Yeah, so it's changed drastically. So I try to work my job as if I have no kids, and I try to parent as if I have no job. And that clearly doesn't work out at all. But luckily, my team, almost everybody is a parent, so they understand. And whenever I chalk out my priorities now, I'm able to commit to deliverables that I can deliver. I make sure, and so I try not to have it all. I'm taking it slow now. I'm not as aggressive as I was on my career path. I am. I want in the next 2 years. I'm pretty sure what I want. In the next 5 years, I'm pretty sure about where I see myself. But I'm not going to stress myself out on it. I'm not going to be too hard on myself. That is what children have taught me. Taught me how to plan, execute properly, think clearly, be able to make decisions that are realistic, be more patient and honest. So I think it's made me a better person overall. Just being a parent has made me a better person.
That's great. That's great to hear, and especially like our priorities do shift when we have kids, but then it's important to not lose ourselves too, because so much of our identity is intertwined in being a parent, but then we're still ourselves, right? But
Yes,
but you're right. We
yes,
can't try to do both 100%. We gotta make compromises here and there.
yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, you should never forget who you are and your dreams, and uh, just not forget to make ourselves happy.
Definitely. Because they're going to grow up and they're going to go off doing their own thing. And we're left with,
Yeah,
did we accomplish our dreams? We're left with ourselves and our partner, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, if you're not happy, you cannot. They sense it. They feel you, and I don't want them to see me as a person who's stressed out or who is. Uh, I mean, it happens. At times, there are good times or bad times. I get irritated, and I might have a frown on my face. But immediately, again, I try to change my mood, and it makes a difference in them too. They feel better.
Yeah, yeah, because they see all that, they feel it, right? Even if they don't
Yeah.
express it, but over time they will be able to express it better, and they will keep observing and seeing it.
Yes, yes, true. My mom was a working mother, and her job was crazy insane. She would leave at 6 a.m. and come back only at 8 p.m. in the night. What I learned from her was she was still able to give me priority. She would make my favorite food for the day, pack it all up, and then leave at 6 a.m. She would she would make sure that my clothes were laundered and ironed perfectly for my college, and she would give my grandmother all kinds of instructions on how to keep me engaged through the day, to come back home, find out how I was doing, and whenever I needed her, she would be there, even though she had a crazy schedule like that. So I want to be a mother like that, where I achieve my goals. She achieved her goals. She says that always. I achieved what I wanted to. I'm very satisfied with my career. Um, I had some things in some thoughts in my life for myself, and I did all that. And that makes me happy. So I want to be the same. I have some bucket goals for myself that I want to achieve, and at the same time, I'll fulfill my duty here, so that my kids, when they grow up, they think, okay, my mom did whatever she could for us, and at the same time, she did not forget about herself.
Yeah, that's so important. What an amazing mother. She sounds really, really amazing.
She did struggle a lot. She At one point she had no time for herself because she was juggling crazy work schedule. It was me, and then her mom. My grandmom fell sick. That was the time where she had absolutely nothing for herself. But slowly she came out of it and she learned to juggle that also.
Wow. But do remember you have times three. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you gotta prioritize a little bit too, because like you said, you gotta have time for yourself as well.
True, true. My mom got an offer in the Middle East, and she really wanted to go there. That was one of her goals. And at the same time, my grandma fell sick. So she did so well at the interview that the interviewer said, then she said, I cannot come because my mother is sick. She sacrificed it. She said, okay, that's it. I won't go. Then the interviewer said, what if we give your mother a visa and we give her insurance?
Wow.
Medical insurance. So she was like, okay, now you're talking, but let me think about it. And she moved. She went there. She took the job. She took my grandmother. My grandmother was very comfortable with my mom. So she did it all. So that's amazing. I always think of that. I mean,
Yeah, that's really amazing. So
she set a standard.
where were you with your dad at that time then?
No, I was old enough. So I was taking care of myself. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was picturing you as like a toddler or something, and I was like, wait, but you
No, no,
were.
no, no,
Then the timing
no.
actually works out perfectly, right? That she
Yeah,
doesn't have to
yeah,
worry
yeah,
about you. I mean, she's always going to worry about you, but not as much as if you were
yeah.
younger.
And actually, when I was going to have twins, I thought of you.
Oh,
You were always an idol of for me. Like you, whenever I would see you, I would think next 5 to 10 years in my life, I should be like her. The way you would manage your team, the way you would just get jobs, things done at work, get the timelines moving, would inspire me a lot, motivate people to work. Your team was the most fun team, I think, at Marqeta. I was not into front end, but maybe I would have. If I was interested in front end, maybe I would have asked to get into your team.
thank you. It was, it's one of those things where it looks from the outside like I have it together, but you know how it is. We struggle day to day, but we're like, okay, we can't let other people
Yeah,
see that, right?
yeah. One day I remember you came to work, but you were very upset because one of your baby was sick. I think your youngest one was sick.
Oh,
And he was at daycare, but then you lived at Fremont, I think, somewhere you came by BART. Yeah. And you had to go back, and something about like you got a phone call, you were sick or something, you started crying. You felt so bad for your baby. I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could help her. She has to get back home on time for her baby. Your little one was a toddler, I think,
yeah, yeah.
back then. Yeah, I was feeling terrible that day for you, and just hoping that you could make it on time. But then I realized, see, moms work so hard. Moms have to go through so many things, sacrifices. And I was like, I should be ready for this.
Wow, you have such a good memory. I don't remember that anymore, but I do remember when they were little. It's like because you're so far, right? Because we were in Oakland and
Yeah,
I had to
we were in
take the
Oakland.
train back home and I couldn't just get in my car and drive home. I had to like go through a lot of steps. And so, that's why I hear, when your kids are close to home, that sounds amazing. And you get to be home. Then it's like when that happens, the time to get to them is shorter, right? Because every
Yeah.
minute feels so long when they're sick and you can't get to them.
Yeah, yeah, true. That's true. At this point, what I wish is that the tech sector should really move in a direction where, the team is built in such a way that everybody is able to, if somebody has an emergency, they are able to take help from others and things move on. Things are able to go forward. Just more helpful to that team member. From that time, whenever in our team, there's a lot of new parents. Something happens, I just make sure to let them know, hey, it's okay, just go, don't worry about work. If anything happens, we'll take care of it. Just having that sense of preparedness in mind beforehand, that takes us a long way. I think that is missing with a lot of teams, a sense of preparedness. When something happens, the roof is falling down, people don't know what to do, they're running helter skelter, then they're like, oh, I need you here right now.
Hmm.
And then that sense of the guilty sense kicks in for the parent who cannot be there that day.
Yeah, and as of right now, the only support they get is from other team members like yourself that understand and are empathetic to them and give them that time
Yeah.
and space. But if they don't have that, then it's like they,
Yeah. Even then, if it's a process where we are able to find, help, or we have alternatives, the person wouldn't, I mean, wouldn't feel guilty to be empathized by others.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
we should build our processes, our teams in that way where we realize that everybody has a family, that rainy days could happen any moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you struggle with at your kids' current ages of 5 and 1.5? What would you say is the biggest struggle with their age?
Giving them attention, giving them mommy time. I have some time during the day that I allocate to just no devices, no thoughts, no work related thoughts. Let me just play with them. But even at that point, I feel a little bit, because I have thrown away my devices, I've thrown away my thoughts, I feel relaxed. And then I'm like, I'm a potato now. I cannot play with you anymore. I cannot play this puzzle anymore because I'm so relaxed. I just want to sleep. So I again, it's that battle. I want to give them a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's again, it goes back to the wanting to be your full self at work and the wanting to be your full self at home, right? And we have to give
Yeah.
ourselves grace of it's okay if we can't be 100% in both places because it's a lot on us, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you do to, if you're able to now, what do you do to relax or unwind?
I like to watch movies. I bought myself a nice recliner, a very comfy, cozy one. So, like I said, 8 o'clock to 12 a.m. I have time for myself. So at that point, nobody is to disturb me. Everybody has to be in bed. And I watch a movie, sit on my recliner, and that is read a book sometimes. Just have my dinner in peace.
Yeah. You're like, mommy's in the recliner. You go back to
Yeah,
bed.
yes. That is the rule in the house. Mommy is sitting on the recliner. Don't trouble her. You have any questions, go to daddy.
I love that. Does daddy have a recliner too, or no?
Yes, he has a recliner, but he promised me that he has to be with the baby, right? He's going to put him to bed.
Yeah.
So he uses the recliner during the day when everybody's awake.
That's great. And are they allowed to
uh,
talk to him when he's on the recliner?
During the day, I mean, that it's not sleep time. He chose that for himself. I'm sorry.
That's amazing. So, what's your approach to work-life balance?
Just don't stress out too much about work. Never think that you have to work through the weekend. You don't have to. Everything has time. When you go back to work, everything has time to complete. Make realistic commitments to your team. You don't have to overwork to show that you're working. And at home, just don't be hard on yourself. Take it easy. Take it one day at a time, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's really great. And that kind of sounds like an answer also to my next question, but if you have anything to add to that, let me know, which is, what's something you would tell someone in tech who's planning to have kids or something you wish you knew before becoming a parent?
It's going to be hard, but take it as a fun challenge. Uh, like I like I said previously, you don't need to overthink anything. It's something very, very sweet. It's actually the sweetest thing ever to have a baby. It's crazy. It's crazy that it's simple. It's actually very simple. You just have to work and prioritize your work, like 9 to 5 is my work, if those are your timings. And then it's okay to focus only between 9 to 5. Give it your 100% during those hours. Commit yourself to being there at your commitments. And then at home, if your baby doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, it's okay. Just just chill. You don't have to worry about it. If they're humans, sometimes they eat, sometimes they don't eat.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have to teach them everything. For first time parents, you just go with the flow, fine, and take as much as help as you can. You don't have to save anything. If your nanny is expensive, it's okay, spend that money. Get a nanny.
I love that because it's so hard for us, right? And I love what you said. Just get that nanny, take care of it, and don't think too much. And if they don't eat, it's okay because we struggle the first kid or kids, right? If they don't eat, you're like,
Yeah,
oh my god, I got to call the doctor. What's going on? Why aren't they eating? Are they gonna lose weight? And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and sometimes they don't, but then they'll eat the next time.
Yeah, think of yourself as the nurse, like the phone nurse. She call her. She says, "Are they vomiting blood? Are they unconscious? Are they deranged? Are they not peeing for 48 hours?" Okay, then they're fine. Just wait it out. So ask yourself those questions
Oh, I love
and
that.
watch Netflix and relax.
And get a recliner.
Get a recliner. Yeah. Then bedtime hours to 8 o'clock.
That's amazing. Well, thank you, Hita, for sharing your story with us today. I had a lot of laughs, and I think there's a lot of tips in there for first-time parents and parents in general. So, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Parenthood Bites. We hope you found our episode informative and entertaining. If you're a parent in the tech world or know someone who is, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out to us at chow@parenthoodbites.co, and we'll be thrilled to add your experiences to our interviews. That's chow, CHIAO, at parenthoodbites.co. And to our potential sponsors out there, if you're a business or know of one that would like to support and partner with our podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can also reach us at chow@parenthoodbites.co. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your week. Until next time, take care and stay curious.